As designers, we create images every single day: website headers, blog visuals, social posts, lots of client deliverables. And every time we are fighting the same exact battle, adding the same styles into the prompts for all the images so that they look good together and they look like they came from the same place. What if you never had to fight that battle again? What if I told you how you could have your AI agent just take care of all of that? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get Hermes Agent to build you a custom image generator that bakes your styles in automatically. And the best part, if you have a Mac or a PC with enough RAM, you can generate images completely for free locally. This is the first video in a series about building your own design tools. Not downloading somebody else's app, not subscribing to another SaaS with a monthly subscription, just building custom tools that work exactly the way you want to work. Today, we are starting with the most essential one, a custom image generator. The kind of tool that understands your aesthetic without you having to describe it for the 1,000th time. Let's get into it. Before I show you how to build this, let me explain why I needed it in the first place. You can use a lot of tools like ChatGPT, Kling, or what have you, right? These tools can produce images in any style that you need. But that is the problem when it comes to producing images for companies. For example, on my blog and channel, everything is black and white and with a cinematic composition, consistent across articles and social posts and so on. But if you use the general purpose tools, you would spend a lot of time specifying these styles every time you produce something. So this is the reason number one for producing this tool. But it's also not just about applying a style. Developing a concept for the image is also an area where a lot of time is spent. When I need a supporting image for a blog post or a website section, I have to read the content, figure out the key idea, and then translate that into something visual. It also gets really hard when the concepts also have to be consistent. For example, if you've used a boat as a metaphor in one image, you wouldn't use a car as an example in a related section. So that's hours of mental work every single time. And finally, there's the model problem. New image generation models drops every few months. Ernie, Bonsai, Flux, GPT Image, Nano Banana, and the like. If you want to be able to use these new models, you'd have to modify your workflows based on the discrepancies between each of them. But if you use an abstraction layer, something that sits between you and the chaos of the individual differences between the AI models, you could keep adding new capabilities without breaking your core workflow. So that's another reason for what we are building today. I'm making a few assumptions about your setup here. You need a Mac or Windows, you need Olama running locally, and you need Hermes Agent installed. I'm also using Kimi K2.6 as the LLM model, which is the latest version at the time of this video's publication in June 2026. I also have Gemma 4 as a local model. One quick setup tip that will save you an enormous amount of pain later on is that you should create a dedicated folder on your computer for all the code that your agent generates. Then tell your agent about it by putting the path and your preferences in the soul.md file within that agent's profile folder. Finally, specify that you use UV as your Python package manager. If you don't do these steps, your agent will dump code wherever it is convenient at that exact moment. It'll probably use npm as its package manager, which has got its own issues with, especially when packages are dependent on each other. So UV resolves that much faster. And let's say 6 months from now, when you want to upgrade something, you'll have no idea where any of this code will be. So trust me on this, spend the 30 seconds it takes now to save you hours later on. If your machine has at least 16 gigs of RAM, you can run a local image model completely for free. No APIs, no subscriptions, no usage limits. The model we are going to use is called Bonsai. Here's what you tell your agent to do. The exact prompt is on the screen right now. Just copy it and paste it into your agent. Once Bonsai is installed, test it. Again, the verification prompt is on the screen. On my Mac, a 500 by 500 pixel image takes about 6 seconds to produce. It's fast, it's free, and it's completely private. If something breaks and something doesn't work as it should, just tell your agent to debug it. That's the whole point of having an agent, isn't it? It fixes its own mess. Now, Bonsai is great, but it's not perfect. It creates fantastic images of objects, nature, section headings, illustrations, but human limbs, it's not its strength. For those, you need a more powerful model, and you can switch between the local and externally hosted powerful models by building the abstraction layer. We will call this command line interface tool image37. Think of it as a universal remote for image generators. You talk to image37, image37 talks to whatever model is best for the job. And it can even be set up with to automatically switch between models based on rules. For example, if the remote model is not available for some reason, it can switch to the local model and get the job done. The prompt to build this tool is on the screen right now. Just go ahead and pause the video at the times that you need, and just go execute the prompts and wait for your agent to build it out, and then you can come back and continue. I called it an image37, but you can name it whatever you want. But just keep in mind, don't call it image hyphen generator. Hermes already has a built-in skill with that same name, so you'll end up confusing the agent when you ask it to use the tool to generate these images. So once it's built, test it, and the prompt for testing is also on the screen. If you're a coder, you've made a lot of programs called the Hello World program, and this is that equivalent. If you get an image back, the foundation is solid. Now let's add the heavy hitters. In mid 2026, the best cloud models are Google's Nano Banana 2 for creative magic and Flux 2 Max or Pro for photorealistic images. We are accessing these through Replicate or replicate.com, which is a pay-per-use API. Nobody's paying me for anything. It's just a service that I really love using. There's no monthly subscription. You top up your account and you spend it as and when you need it. I think you can hold an amount in your account for about a year. So you also have a lot of time to use up whatever credits that you top up your account with. Usually the cost per image is about 4 to 6 cents per generation. Sometimes more if you're doing higher resolution images or using reference images to generate new images from. The setup is simple. Just create a Replicate account. You'll need a GitHub account to sign in. So go create a GitHub account if you don't have one, and then sign into Replicate. Then just click on the header and click the API token and name it something that you'll remember. And copy that API key and save it in the .env file inside your image37 folder. The exact steps are on the screen. Then ask your agent to integrate Flux to Flex. You go to the Flux 2 models profile page and just copy the URL, and then use that in the integration prompt. Actually, I'll just drop it in the integration prompt screen. You can just copy it directly from what's displayed on the screen, and you can paste it. Once it's done, test it with an alligator eye prompt that you'll see on the screen. It's a great stress test for detail and contrast. If that works, add Nano Banana 2 and Flux 1.1 Pro the same way. The agent should extend the script rather than building separate files, as long as they're all on Replicate. Now for the features that make this feel like magic. First, automatic styles. Every image that comes out of the generator can have your signature look baked in. The prompt on the screen shows you how to append a style description to every generation request. Replace my sample with your own aesthetic that you'd like. From now on, just describe the subject, the style is automatic. Second, use case prompts. This is the goal oriented computing in action. Instead of telling the machine how to make an image, you tell it what you need the image for, and then it allow it to figure it out. The implementation prompt is also on the screen. Uh, what this does is simple but powerful. You say, I need an accent image for a paragraph about blockchains. And the system first asks the LLM to translate that into a proper image prompt. And after that, sends that image prompt to the image generator. You're not struggling to visualize the concepts anymore. You can have AI help you come up with some ideas. You're just describing the problem, and the tool figures out some solutions and solves it. This is already one of the most used tools in my setup, but if you want to push it further, here are four solid directions. First, multiple brand prompts. If you are a freelancer or you work for an agency and you work with multiple companies, you'd probably want a style prompt for each of the brands. So you can tell your agent to extend the tool that I've already spoken to you. So then you can provide a style name saying company ABC style, and it'll infuse the right style prompts when generating the image. The second is batch generation. So what we've built right now is going to generate just one image per prompt, but you can have it generate five or six. If you don't mind the cost, you can just have it produce a lot more images, and you just pick the best one from them. This is a way to save some time if the cost is worth it. The third is the use of reference images. So a lot of times it actually helps a lot when you provide a reference image for the prompt that you providing to get the image generated. So a lot of details, you will save having to specify a lot of details. You can provide a reference image and say, just change this bit to this other way, and the rest of it you don't have to describe. The fourth, editing features. These models that we spoke about have the ability to, remove a certain object from a frame, or change the color of a car in the background and things like that. It is really powerful stuff. So you can have built in those capabilities within your tool and using exactly the same models. You just need to wire it up into your tool, and you can just tell your agent what you need done, and it'll go figure out how to do it. If you build this tool or any of these extensions, just let me know and drop a comment. If you also get stuck, just leave a message. I might be able to help you. I just want to remark on the point in time that we've arrived at, where we are not downloading software anymore, right? We are just describing what we want built and having these agents go and build them for us locally, exactly the way we want it to be. We don't have to settle for something or find an approximation that works for us, kind of thing. You can have your tools built exactly the way you want it. I find this fascinating. It's a wonderful place to arrive at for computing as a whole. So I just wanted to make that remark. Anyway, next week we are doing the same. We are building a similar tool, but for audio. There's a lot of things that you can do there, like text to speech, background music, voice cloning, and all that. So we can wire all of that into a single tool as well, and have your agent control that tool to produce what you need. You won't want to miss that one. So I'll see you then. Cheers. Take care.